Lennon to me has always been a super interesting figure in pop culture, even coming from a hip hop background, not being born with the music of the Beatles. He seems to pop up everywhere, and the message I kind of got from the people who were speaking about him was that he was a rebel, he was iconoclast, he kind of broke the mold in every single way, and was a brilliant musician, which I'm finding out about through discovering the Beatles catalog, which I am of course going through in my, but I'm super curious about the guy. I found his writing to be really interesting, with a tinge of darkness always. I love his perspective he writes from. He kind of takes what's normal and flips it on his head. And so I've been very curious to check out his discography. This is from his debut album after the breakup of the Beatles. And so when doing the research about this album, I learned that this was inspired, the album was, by a type of therapy called primal scream therapy that John Lennon was into. And so suggests to me that this is a album that's very personal, with very dark parts about it, maybe writing about the pain of his childhood and maybe the stress of dealing with fame, being in the Beatles. So really interesting kind of concepts maybe explored, maybe something I could check out later on. This is one of his most famous songs from that album. It's called Working Class Hero. It's been sent in to me by Eddie, who wanted me to check out the song. So here we go, let's check this track out. Here we go, this is Working Class Hero by John Lennon. This is a new sort of remastered mix of it too. Here we go.
As soon as you're born, they make you feel small by giving you no time instead of it all. Till the pain is so big you feel nothing at all.
Almost like a Johnny Cash vibe, right? Very somber.
A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be. They hurt you at home and they hit you at school.
Okay, immediately, I mean, the mood of the track is excellent. Excellent. If very sparse, it does a lot with how little is going on because of its kind of somber nature, and allows those words to sing through. I can't quite grasp the message completely of the track yet, or like the feeling of the track yet. Maybe that's going to be uncovered over time. I get a sense of like tragedy from the track so far. And it's a chorus that rings home, man. Wow, very cool, man. I like it. Very Johnny Cash-like, right?
They hate you if you're clever, and they despise a fool. Till you're so fucking crazy you can't follow their rules. A working class hero is something to be.
Is that called finger-picking style, right?
A working class hero is something to be. When they've tortured and scared you for 20 odd years, then they expect you to pick a career.
Wow.
When you can't really function, you're so full of fear. A working class.
So the lyrics of this thing really hit home for me. You know, some of these lines, man, it's like, wow, I can't believe how kind of relevant they are even today. Now, he's talking about a specific type of working class, you know, back in the 60s of England. I mean, it was really, really rough times going on, right? A lot of poverty going around, but it still works. And the sentiment of the track for me works. You know, certainly I come from a humble background, single parent family. We were never very rich, always, to be blunt, very poor. So the idea of this really hits home. The thing that I'm kind of getting from it is that the system is kind of set up in a way that doesn't really foster success for a person who comes from a place like this, which I think is kind of true, man.
This hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be. keep you doped with religion and sex and TV. And you think you're so clever and classless and free, but you're still fucking peasants as far as I can see. A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be.
Really love the guitar, man. It's growing on me.
There's room at the top, they are telling you still. But first you must learn how to smile as you kill.
Wow.
If you want to be like the folks on the hill.
It's very interesting with the absence of Paul McCartney, the blunt darkness of Lennon is just on full display. I've always described them as being the yin and the yang sort of sign where they balance each other out. But without Paul there, it's only the kind of, he's just gone full blunt. And I know he's probably got songs which are more mixed and there's more optimistic tracks, but this song is just, there's no balance to it. He's just is very upfront with what he's trying to say here. It's really interesting style. He's saying it as it is, but you're still fucking peasants as far as I can see. Wow.
A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be. If you want to be a hero, well, just follow me.
Wow, so much to say about this song,
If you want to be a hero, well, just follow me.
Okay, brilliant track. I really liked it. Now, as some of you guys might know, great ending actually. I kind of spoke over that. My bad. As most of you guys know from watching the channel, I'm not the greatest fan of acoustic music. You're attuned to your taste young. That's where a taste for music will be kind of cemented, right? And of course, I grew up on hip hop, so drums and lyrics is where I'm kind of centered at. Whereas I think people who grew up on rock music are centered on melody. Melody is what really seems to appeal to a lot of you listeners. I'm learning this through the channel, right? You guys are kind of following the melody. But this song reduces all of that to just the lyrics, and I think that's why I really love it. Very lyrical based. It reminds me of a Dylan track in the sense that it's obviously talking about something very real and truthful to kind of society. It's like almost like a journalist would, the way Dylan is, without the abstract nature of Dylan. Dylan does it through this kind of beautiful poetic style. Lennon is like a sledgehammer. He's just come through with those unbelievably blunt lines. I didn't delve into kind of cutting through each line and trying to analyze it, but in general, I think it's very obvious what he's trying to say. I couldn't work it out first because of this line here. A working class hero is something to be. It was like a very mocking nature to it, and I think that's the point of it. He's trying to say, they're trying to sort of put you in a box essentially when you make it out of being from poverty, right? A working class hero is something to be. But then you realize behind the curtains what the truth is, and it's all of this. Keep you doped up with religion and sex and TV, right? And you think you're so clever and classless and free. It probably felt like that once he became rich. I'm classless. I'm beyond the fact that I come from poverty. But it kind of hit him in the head that no, they actually kind of bunch you in with all of the other peasants, so to speak. Really, really interesting commentary, man. I really enjoyed this track. Again, the growing myth of Lennon in my head. I mean, this only adds to it. I just tend to like him more, especially because I got a kind of personal connection with the story. Great track, great recommendation by Eddie.